Good morning. My name is Katie Kusske. I'm George Pocock's granddaughter. What we are looking at is the loft of the old ASUW shell house. This is where my grandfather's workshop was for more than 25 years. One can only imagine with a sense of smell, of hearing, and of vision my grandfather building and constantly perfecting the design and performance of his wooden racing shells one by one. Hundreds of beautiful racing shells came out of that shop, like the legendary Husky Clipper, rowed by the 1936 crew that was never defeated. In addition to this legacy of fine racing shells, he left us with many legendary quotations that teach us about the values to be gained from rowing. Many of you are familiar with one that starts like this. It's a great art, is rowing. It's the finest art there is. It's a symphony of motion. Note that he uses art 2 times in this passage. What was this art that Grandpa Pocock was referring to? When we think of art, we often think of fine paintings, sculptures, or music. These he certainly appreciated, but his favorite forms of artistic expression were boat building and rowing, both competitively and as a form of recreation. One of our most cherished family treasures is Grandpa's Complete Works of Shakespeare book, which we discovered in my mom's collection. This book was presented to Grandpa upon graduating 8th grade at Eton in 1905. Inside, we found many notes he had made, mostly about the various characters in the Shakespeare plays which he had studied over many years. But we also found what looked like a sort of to-do list, handwritten on a scrap of Pocock racing shell stationery. It didn't look like much at first, but on further examination, it contained some of Grandpa's musings about the importance of art and how it contributes to happiness in life, which he noted was the most sought of all man's aims. He listed some of his favorite classical artists, including Rubens and Rembrandt, and some of the great 18th century furniture makers whose work he had studied, as well as some of the great baseball players of the day, Joe DiMaggio and Stan Musial, whose art he appreciated. He had great respect for a person's art and how a person expresses him or herself artistically. I believe that he valued each person's goals in life. If you are earnestly pursuing some form of art, trying to achieve what he called a sense of good craftsmanship and technique, then this is how you can achieve happiness and purpose in whatever you may encounter in this life. As a teenager, my dad took me out to Green Lake, where he taught me a little bit about rowing in a single shell. This fine world-class rowing center had yet to be built, but I never caught the competitive rowing bug. I did, however, gain an appreciation for perfecting the physical and mental skills it takes to keep the boat moving faster. Later on, when I worked summers at the Pocock Racing Shells shop, I would often encounter Grandpa Pocock in the office at the end of the day. He would sometimes ask, "Well, Catherine, what have you accomplished today?" Although I didn't really get it at the time, I believe he was asking me if I was developing any sense of artistic purpose in my daily work. Many of you can now enjoy the abundance of programs offered at the Pocock Rowing Center. Rowers from middle school age through adult and elite levels can express their own form of art through these programs. Scholarships are available for the many programs that get the rowers to understand the many aspects of rowing, the ability to join a crew, and to row together in a shell, to further your mind's way of telling your body what it needs to do to be successful in rowing. Thank you for your attendance and attention at today's breakfast gathering. Through your generosity, you are helping further the life-changing artistic ambitions at the George Pocock Rowing Foundation. May it long prosper. Harmony, balance, rhythm. That's all there is to it. That's what life is all about. George Yeomans Pocock.